and we're gonna get started. I joined the big blue button once again. Just gonna invite everyone. Please come to Zoom as big blue button is not working properly. So I invited everyone to Zoom, so hopefully they'll see it and come. Now let's get started with the application. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to create a new project. So I'm gonna go into the project section and let me just make this a little bit bigger. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Dynamic picture box exercise, and gonna create it as Windows Form .NET application. Just close and create new form. So that's very good. Please don't unmute yourself unless you have something to say, okay? Because I don't want any background noise. It's just distracting me. If you want to talk, just raise your hand and I can see it on my participant screen. This is my participant screen, you can see. And if you raise your hand there, I'll see it and give you the right to talk. So once this is done, I'm gonna drag and drop two radio buttons here. Let's just find them. And put actually a group box, which will be a nice idea. The group box, and going into the properties of the group box, we can change it. We can set up a bigger font, maybe something like this, and expand it. And I'm gonna drag and drop the group box, the radio button inside, and you'll be able to see now that this is visible. Like even if you copy paste it in here, and then as soon as you drag and drop inside the group box, it takes those properties, which is a nice way to keep consistent style.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Oops, my big blue button is going crazy, so I'm just gonna close that one. Just consuming me a lot of connection bandwidth. Just gonna close this. And yeah, going back. Now we have the radio buttons. I'm gonna name them now. I'm gonna go down and write something inside, a value. Obviously in here, this is the name. So I'm just gonna name it radio mail and go up. Just change the text to male. And doing the same thing for female. The funny part in here is that I'm gonna put an icon now so that whenever these are clicked, the icon will hopefully change. And that's my aim. But before doing that, I will also drag and drop a button. Let's go up and drag and drop a button. Two buttons actually. One we can say that it's submit, the other one that will clear. So coming here, second button, I'm gonna name it clear. Going up, Oops, this should be clear. That should be button clear. Let's go down and change it to button clear. And the same goes for this button. And go up. So right now I created my components. As you can see, there's a female, there's a male, there's a clear button, there is a submit button, stuff like this. So what we want to do in here is that we're going to drag and drop a picture box, and we'll be able to change the picture box to a specific value. So in the slides, you can get some information about the picture box should you want to. You'll see it in here that you'll be able to do something like this. If a male is selected, a male figure is shown, and similarly, if a female is selected, a female picture will be shown. So what we're gonna do is that we will be able to change the image in the project so that we can put specific icons when these are obviously changed. So I'm gonna find images, if you will, on my application that I can use. Like I downloaded it before, like something like this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to cut out the image somehow. I just don't like them actually, it's just too small. So let me just find something more standout-ish. Male icon PNG. Let's just find something more standout. Okay, how about this one? It says free download. It's not bad, I guess. Let's just see how it's gonna look. And we need something similar for female. Almost the same dimensions. But it's really hard to find a consistent male and female icon actually. Because they have to be in the same dimension. I mean, I can set them up, but just I would like to follow the same style in both of them. That's male, that's female. Doesn't look that bad to me. Just this one is not loading. Something wrong with the internet connection today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just people are so bored that they're spending their entire time on the internet. So this one is not bad for sure. I'm gonna save this. This one is not bad either. So we're gonna do some Photoshop stuff. Like you can use Paint as well. Doesn't really matter. For this one, I'm gonna, it's a PNG file, both of them, so that's good. It's better if you use Photoshop, but you can also use Paint, doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna make this now, cutting the edges to make sure that it will look nice. And resizing it to a smaller size. The height is too much, 150-ish. And 140. Yeah, it's not bad. So I'm just gonna save this. And I will do the same thing for the mail. So I'm gonna get rid of these ones. Gonna do the same thing for mail. And this one is again too big. The other one had the dimensions of 140, 150. So I'm gonna do it exactly the same way. Image size 140, 150. So it's got quite small now. You can zoom in to see how it looks. So that's how it's gonna look. So male, female, male, female. So I'm gonna say both of them, this one and the other one. And just gonna close Photoshop now and rename them. Female icon, male icon. So now that we have these, we're gonna go back to the Visual Studio and drag and drop. Let me just close this, drag and drop the picture box. So we're gonna do a toolbox here. Go down, the picture box. Drag and drop it. And put it in there. We're gonna name our picture box. It's gonna go down. Just picture box. It's okay. We don't have any other picture box, so why not just name it as picture box. What we need to do now is to make sure that these properties, whatever image you're gonna put inside, must be part of your project now. So somehow you need to make sure that these images is gonna be part of your properties. So it's a nice idea that put them into the project folder. So I'm gonna import these into my project. I'm gonna go to desktop, visual programming, male icon, and also female icon. So male and female, male and female. And we should be able to change them now whenever we want. So this is our male icon property, and you'll be able to change this as it goes through. And if you actually type female here, you go there and select female, it will show female. So somehow this should be, we'll be able to change this through the control panel inside the code. So what we need to do is that insert the relevant images to resource folder, then write the following code. So in the part where we gonna change this, we need to basically define this to make sure that they'll be dynamically changing. So let's go. We have the male and female. So I'm gonna find the change properties. You can also double click on them if you want, but if you find the change property, you can simply change the icon. So it's like check changed. And then same thing in here, check changed. It's also given in here, item check. Check changed. So this picture box image will change as you type it. We have a picture box. We're gonna set up the image for it. mail one, it's gonna be the dynamic picture box, which is gonna be, what's wrong with my internet connection today? I have no idea. Can you follow me when I talk? Is it okay? Seems like it's slowing down.
For my end, it's okay.
It's like my connection, there's something wrong with it today. I have no idea because I did a larger class yesterday and I didn't have any problems. So we have the mail icon here. And we're gonna do the female icon. You can also set this up at the beginning as the form loads that there are no images. Should you want to, you can find an image that is not selected yet. So let's set up this here. No selection. Let's see. Something like this could work. I'm just gonna save this into the same folder. And this time around, I'm gonna use no icon as the name. And also make sure that this is opened up in Paint. This time I'm not using Photoshop, and I'm gonna resize it. It was, what was the properties? 140 something. I don't remember. Let's just check the details. 140, 150. Mm, 140 and 150. So something like this, I'm just gonna save it now and then put this icon into the project as well, so that whenever no selection is done, at least we can go back to it. So going into the properties, going up, finding the place where this was actually set up. And this is the events part. I need to find the properties. Let's just import this one as well. And no icon. Something like this. The size is not matching. Like, seems like I couldn't set up it with the just open Photoshop. It's much better for me. 140, 150. What's going on? I'm just gonna, maybe it's being used, that's why it's just getting annoyed. Just gonna press OK and say, well, yeah. Seems like the file format is not recognized. Anyway, resize it a little bit bigger. 140, 150 pixels. It should be working because those are the pixels that I set it up. In any way, I mean, it's not that important, but I just want to keep it at the same size with the others. So I'm gonna try it again this time. It's slightly bigger. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep it like this. I can go back to it whenever I want. So when I actually run this program, let's see what's gonna happen. As I go through this, you'll see that the icons are being changed. So whenever I select the female, you see that the icons are changing now. And what I want to do is, by default, I want the icon to be this icon. So I'm gonna go into the form load section and make sure that this picture box has no icon. So I'm gonna come in here, just copy paste this. Not the group box, I want the form load. I don't want the group box, I want the form load. So I'm gonna come into the form design here. Yes. Gonna put dot the icon, whichever one that I want. I want no icon, this one. So I put this one. So as soon as the form is loaded now, despite the fact that it shows on the form and I might have a different one, I'm just gonna have hopefully the icon there. Let me just try to do it again. This forms load, properties, resource, no icon one. And we also need to trigger the submit and also clear buttons. Make sure also that none of the icons are checked yet. So this radio email dot chat is false. This radio female, sorry, chat is also false. This one is not unchecking itself. There was a way to do it actually. I don't remember right now. How do we do that? Checking. Check parts. Was it the selection or the check? I think it was checked, as far as I remember. Now there are some group chat messages are coming to me. I can see, but I can't follow. Yes, okay. So the part that I mentioned, I think this one should be false. And there was a way to do it. So let me just go to my notes. There's absolutely a way to do it. To set the check part to false, because currently, even though I set it up, you see it doesn't uncheck it. There must be an unchecked functionality here. How do we do that? Unable change. No, not this one. Oops. Let me just check my notes. There has to be a way to do it right now. I don't remember it. Should be in my notes. Yes, something like this I think would work. Something like to check whether or not it's going to be checked. Just to check it to uncheck. Because it's like we need to make sure that it's not really checked first in order to show it. So I'm gonna check this up in my application. So coming in here, putting those statements. So if it is checked, I'm gonna check the state to the false. And it's not working. There is something wrong with it. So this one is not seeing it as checked for some reason. So I can't set it up to the false part whenever I load the function. So because it seems like this is gonna be checked, it doesn't understand it. So there I have an error. Like I want to show a default one, but it doesn't understand it because this one is checked. So if I remove this part at the beginning, let's see how it's gonna function. Yeah, it's just doing it now. So basically the code that I have in here is working, but because this is counted as checked, okay, so what I'm gonna do now, try to do a different approach. Go into the properties and find the check state. This should be false. This should be false as well, which are already there. Okay, let's come back. So this should be the not checked. So as I check it, I must make sure that this is not checked. But if I turn this on, this one, it seems like it's checking it. It's not something that is a major issue, but by default, this is checking it, and which I don't want it to be checked. It's not a major problem, like the program still works, but it just is annoying to me. But somehow, as soon as I put this, even though the state here is checked, it's showing me that it's not checked. The check feature should work because it's currently false. It might be a Visual Studio bug because I can see that the check is there is false. And the check feature should work. Okay. I'm gonna come back to it later. I'm not gonna spend more time on it. Let me just continue this part. And then if I am so annoyed by it, I can come back to it later. But currently my application, as you can see, it works. I can see the male and female. Now I'm gonna make sure that the button is not visible or so forth. So what you could do at this point is that you can click on the button itself to show which gender is being selected. So I'm gonna put if the male radio is checked, then we're gonna display a message box. Show male is selected. Else if radio female is checked, then the message box will be female. So as I run this application, we'll be able to see that male is selected. And then if I go there, female is selected. So male, female, male, female. So that is working for now. Just gonna go and do the final touches. The group box, gender, sex selection. As for the clear, you need to make sure that these are not selected. So we need to make sure that these are not selected. I am also running out of time. Before I create another session for you, do you have any questions to me? Is this clear? I'm going to continue with the program, but obviously every session that I have must be 40 minutes. Otherwise, yeah. Okay, Congo, ask me.
So for the form load, as you're trying to do the default for the checkbox to be false, what if you create a function, another function which clears the buttons, and you put the function?
I can barely hear you. Like it's your voice is coming very, very like from deep. Can you please speak slowly and one by one?
So I was saying, if like for the default on the load function for the check buttons to be unchecked, what if you created a function is called a function on the clear button? Wouldn't it work that way?
You can just create basically different functions like you press that specific radio button or checkbox or whatever that is for it, and make sure that that function is triggered when you. That's how it works. So instead of writing directly the code, you just call you again for another session, okay? And you join there. Just go to Big Blue button once again. I'm gonna invite you to another session so you can follow it up. All right. See you guys in a while.